Hi everyone, welcome to Spirit Chat. My name is Jake. Thank you so much for coming along. Today I am doing my weekly tarot reading. I have several questions that I compiled up. Before I start, as I want to mention, thank you for those who came across my channel. I very much appreciate any comments, any questions you would like me to cover that I have not covered in this reading or for the next week's reading. Mind you, I will not do personal questions. This is readings for entertainment purposes only. I appreciate likes, subscribes, clicking that notification so you know when my next reading is. I did come back from vacation this week, and that's why it was on Tuesday. So I appreciate those. Last week's video was on Tuesday, so I appreciate those who were flexible and came and watched the Tuesday reading instead of on Thursday. But typically, I am going to do this Thursday cadence, and if not, I will let everyone know. So, per usual, I will start with international questions. I will do a reading with tarot cards. If you're new watching, I do have my dowsing rods if I need some clarification or anything like that. So, and I do clarifiers on cards with the cards too. So just depending on how I'm feeling or what I want. So let's begin. I'm going to start with, I predicted before that Trump was going to was going to be successful on this Israel and Palestine deal that's going on. I just wanted to make sure if it's going to be successful. I did last week some future cards once this was over about the pathways for Israel and Palestine. I just want to know if this deal will go through successfully. So, Spirit Guides, will the Israel and Palestine deal go successfully? We start out with the Nine of Cups, which is the proposal, the offer that's been placed, a deal, and it's being crossed by the the Nine of Cups, which is when you're crossing this a card, you're going to read like a reversal. So there is going to be dissatisfaction. Now, does that necessarily mean a bad thing? Not necessarily. When you're dealing with a deal, there are going to be probably things that one side's not going to like as well as the other side. If it's a fair deal, there should be both sides should be giving up something or not liking something altogether. So there is some dissatisfaction in the deal. This is in the most recent past, the Seven of Cups. So there was a lot of wishful thinking, opportunities probably on both sides. I think there was, I think more so I'm getting like from Israel that there was wishful thinking on how far they can get in regards to that. Maybe they thought that they were going to do a land grab or occupation, which is not, as far as I know, the deal that's was presented. So this is the Page of Swords. That's the foundation of the reading, which is new ideas, new ways of communicating between these parties, and we found that through the Gulf states, the United Arab Emirates, and and Qatar working together. There is going to be fast movement. This reading with the Chariot, because pretty much the world, as well as I'm sure the Israelis and Palestinians, want this over with so they can start moving on and rebuilding from this war. in the near future, there is a lot of anxiety and despair around this. I would feel this is a little more on the side of the Palestinians and maybe even the Israelis because they're trying to figure out, it's even right now, they're trying to figure out what's happening with the Palestinians, who is running it, is Hamas going to um, put down their weapons and stop the fighting in the Gaza Strip. So we have the Page of Pentacles. There's financial opportunities going to be happening for for I would say more so for Palestine about deals that to rebuild, probably contracts from people, especially when dealing with President Trump. I'm sure there's opportunities where he would want to um, have an opportunity to help rebuild Gaza. That's not shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. The Queen of Swords is the outside view where they want to have clear boundaries on both sides on what's happening and how to progress forward. They hope this is a time for retreat. I think that's the world and even the people on both sides want this rest. And the outcome is that there is going to be painful endings and deep wounds in this Ten of Swords. So my original question was: is Israel and Palestine deal is successful? And and the outcome card's a no card. But I also want to say that um, the Ten of Swords doesn't necessarily mean that there will be breaking out in war again. There might be some skirmishes. I think more so that what's been going on, what was prior to this, is going to end. So, is it going to be successful? Depending on who you're talking to, right? Um, there's going to be, and if you look at the bottom of the deck to clarify, you have the Ten of Swords with this, where there's going to be more discipline and clarity, and the Death card comes. So this is the ending of a cycle for this for the Middle East of this constant fighting. Again, not saying that there won't be skirmishes and stuff, but not like how it's been going before. And again, the boundary cards. There's a lot of these boundary cards that are coming in. I think it's going to be very important moving forward that both sides commit to their boundaries that are being placed for them in order to have peace. So there you go. Now, with this deal, there's been, especially from the MAGA groups in countries that support Donald Trump, think that he should get the Nobel Peace Prize. So, my next question to Spirit is: will President Trump win the Nobel Peace Prize? And I think, well, let's do the reading first, and then I'll say I don't want to affect my opinions that affect the reading. So I'm going to hold my thoughts here, but I'm sure with my nonverbal, you probably can get what somewhat direction I'm going with that. Um, but let's just see what Spirit says. My spirit guides say about uh, will Donald Trump win the Nobel Peace Prize? Donald Trump win the Nobel Peace Prize. So the fairness card is in here with the justice card. It's being crossed by the Knight of Wands. So this is definitely a passion project for Donald Trump. He has many passion projects where he wants to win this Nobel Peace Prize. In Page of Cups is in the recent past. I think he has purposely found ways to lead to this point and where he can get an opportunity to. Here at the foundation of the reading is the Five of Swords, winning at all costs. That's how his mentality is many, many times over on many different subjects. The Ace of Pentacles is crowning this reading. He is finding this as an opportunity. This it referring to the Israeli and Palestinian peace deal. Coming in the near future, you have the Four of Pentacles. Keeping his cards close, keeping control, hoping to keep control in this process of the Nobel Peace process. There is the Four of Wands here. He's hoping for some celebration and community coming together. There's the Two of Wands. There may be traveling from the outside, maybe traveling more, maybe talking to individuals involved or close to the process. However, there's a fear that with that traveling, with the Five of Pentacles, I don't think he's necessarily going to get the answers he's wanting or hoping to hear, because we have the outcome card being the Two of Swords, which is a maybe. They'll probably hear out the people that come, because I don't think it's going to be Donald Trump going to personally. He'll probably send other people on his behalf to talk to these individuals who's involved in the process. But it's going to be a difficult decision for the panel that decides that, because it is also they are very, as you all know, it's not just peace is just a category. They've already been announcing winners in different other categories. There was some kind of science. I think it was just science recently. Was it yesterday I heard that? But anyways, they're very well respected, so I can't imagine that they're going to risk that in the long term. So we'll see. But it says maybe. So I think they're listening to things, but they're going to have to ultimately make that difficult decision. Like I said, it's the Two of Swords. It's very much a crossroads for them. All right, moving to the United States. The first one, which I've actually heard about this, about Tom Homan, about the $50,000 in cash that he received. And yet the Department of Justice does not feel that it needs to be investigated, because any government official should receive $50,000 in a bag of cash. That's not suspicious at all. And if you don't know who Tom Homan is, excuse me, I should have set it up. He is considered the border czar, with all this ICE in immigration and things that are going on, where he is in charge of on the ground, dealing with the ICE agents and whatnot. So let's see. Well, first of all, let's ask Spirit. Did Tom Homan, that cash that he received, was that a bribe? Let's find out. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only. Did Tom Homan, the border czar, receive a bribe with that $50,000 in cash in a bag? Where we're at in time, just want to make sure I don't get too long-winded in this video. All right. Yeah, so the Strength card is right here, but it's going to be crossed by the Justice card. So there is a lot of unfairness, right now. It was definitely, Strength card can also mean influence. So there was an unfair influence. Gosh, I can't get my words out. Unfair influence going on there. This was the Ace of Wands. In the past, I think this was dealing with some type of offer. With the wand, with the stick, they are offering something to him. Uh, the Page of Swords is in the foundation of this reading. There's a way of communicating with him. Uh, Definitely this with this card, the Six of Swords. This is some type of definite baggage for Tom Holman. Hangman's coming in the near future. Now, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, when she was being questioned during the recent Senate hearing, saying that they're not investigating, but there might be something that's not going to get let up with him. It might create that this is getting too messy, so they might put a pause on him, or at least put him in the back where people don't see him that often. Things are coming up from the surface with the moon card. Um, there is worry from the outside about this. Here's the manifestation card with in the hopes and fears. But there's the judgment card. That was a bribe. They're saying, yeah, there's a bribe. And there might be, again, with this hangman, it's a pausing. So it could be, like I said, he might be put in a different position. He might be moving on, transitioning. I didn't really get that. I feel like they're just going to not put him in. They're not going to put him in front of the press and the media anytime soon for a while, because they don't want those questions to pop up about that. So I guess the follow up, I'm going to do a follow up question about if will he be judged in the future, like, or investigated in the future, because it may not be now, but Cam is not always going to be in charge, right? Or Cash Patel. So let's find out if Tom Homan will be charged, judged, investigated in the near future about this money. Um, Homan get investigated about this money in the future. The Hermit card right here, a lot of truth seeking going on, but it's being crossed by the Knight of Swords, or Knight of Wands, excuse me. So there's a lot of, which is meaning that the truth is being delayed right now, which is not. Um, the Ten of Swords is in the past, deep wounds, defeat. I think this is definitely a big wound for the administration, for Tom Homan, having this. There's temperance, wanting to bring balance is the foundation of the reading. The Eight of Cups is crowning this reading. Um, you know, disappointment. Surprise, surprise. The Devil card's in here in the near future. There is some type of transition that will happen. Like I said before, with the pause with the hangman, this could be that they may have him leave. He may leave, as the borders are here. Here's the Two of Wands. Possibly that this money was coming from the outside, from foreign entities. In High Priestess, which is sometimes in the hopes and fears. This could be the hidden agenda also. With that Two of Wands that can go together, and there's a maybe. So there's going to be contemplation. I think when things are over in regards to this administration, they're going to have to pick and choose its fights and their energy on these investigations. Um, so sometimes the best thing might be that they're just gone. Like, but if the players that can continue to, they're probably going to be, my feeling that I'm getting is that all these players in this administration, and when it comes time for people investigating, they have to pick and choose who to investigate, who has the most influence, who made the most damage. Um, especially when it comes to the immigration thing. There's layers of people, so you have to focus on who are the worst players and get those individual first. Get judgments on those charges on those people first, and work your way. So, and there might be some of those people might get deals. The lower people, maybe Tom Homan gets a deal, and becomes a witness for one of the bigger players, and you know, entertainment purposes only. There will be a time for judgment for a lot of these people. So, all right, moving on. I want to move to something that came across recently with the California governor's race. It's not till next year. This year we have the races in Virginia and New Jersey, but I want to visit the California race because it's recently been on the news about Katie Porter's atrocious interview. She was very argumentative, um, pushing back on questions that every candidate was asked. I love Katie. First of all, let me backtrack. I love Katie Porter. I think she's very intelligent. She has a way of communicating, and that interview was not her day. And in this world, you have to be very careful in regards to how you question, how you portray yourself. Also, luckily, the race isn't until 2026. So there's some time, that people probably will forget this. So what the two leading candidates right now, I believe, is besides Katie Porter, is Steve Hilton. He's a Fox News contributor, a former one, and he's a Republican, as you kind of guessed. So let's look at Katie Porter, and then I'll look at Steve Hilton. So Katie Porter, will she be the next governor of California? So I'm going to throw cards for her, and then we'll look at Steve Hilton and kind of see where each one at. I knew this was going to happen. I have maybe had two videos that I didn't lose cards. So give me a second. And there was two cards, so let's take a look at this. So she's very much a free spirit with the Page of Wands, and then this was reversed the Five of Pentacles. So, which is kind of funny, which is spiritual poverty and improvement, which definitely, probably at this time, Katie Porter probably is talking with her people in regards to improving, and very much so, and improving interviews and whatnot. California is such a huge state, huge media market, and the regions are very different. So you want to make sure that your communication is on point and not waver. So Katie Porter, which should be the next governor of California. Okay, so we have the Eight of Pentacles. She's working very diligently, which is not surprising. This is very much so. Here we go again, the Five of Pentacles. Even though I shuffled and dropped cards, we get this again. It's being crossed by she's working very diligent, but then she has this, she lost some spirit right now from this month. And by the way, that interview was like from a month ago. It was not, even though this is recent news, the interview was not recent. So that's kind of interesting. The Knight of Pentacles is in the recent past. Again, she's very much a hard worker. She's very dedicated in her work, very responsible. The Ten of Pentacles, a lot of Pentacles going on so far in this reading. She has long-term success, including when it comes to financials. So she has a lot of donors on her side. A lot of teamwork and collaboration are going on right now with the Three of Pentacles. Again, the Pentacles with her. And then there is going to be fast movement and progress forward. Chariot. She wants to move past this, which is not surprising, and it's probably very smart. She wants to bring some temperance in the conversation, in the balance, and in the government. This is very good. She's going to be viewed very positively, despite the little bump here. Here's another we're getting major arcana cards. Am I saying this wrong? I think I am. It's later in the day, so I apologize. Arcana cards. She gets the star cards and their hope and fear, um, which is good. And here, another one, another major one, the world card. Yes, this is very strong. These leading up to the outcome card for Katie Porter. See, right now she's going through a little bump, but again, she's going to move past this. The chariot cards right here, move past it. We have Temperance, Sun, Star, World. Katie Porter will likely be the next governor of California, looking at this spread. So let's take a look at Steve Hilton still. Let's see where he's going to go and how his path looks like. Because I think, if I remember correctly, June of next year is going to be the primaries. Now, California's unique because they have an open open primary process. So I believe the top two candidates are the ones that move on into the general election. So she can. It could be her and Steve Hilton. It could be her and another Democrat going against each other. Again, it's an open primary, so everybody can vote for any party during that time. Steve Hilton. Let's look at Steve Hilton. Will he be the next governor of California? Uh, Well, we have a devil card right here that's being crossed by the hangman. So there are, when you're talking about the devil, it's not necessarily the devil himself, but you're talking about being destructive behaviors. There's going to be a standstill in his race. Um, the Page of Wands is in the recent past. Very much he's someone that as a former Fox News contributor, he knows how to speak well, catch the audience's attention. There's going to be some betrayal, getting away with something in the foundation of this reading, which is not surprising, you know. There is going to be. I don't think he's going to have. He's going to have money issues with the Five of Pentacles, with donors and whatnot. It's very hard. He's going to have to ask for donors outside of California. Um, However, there is going to be a point in the near future, which could be with this whole thing that's going on with Katie Porter at the moment. He might be helping himself with his financial troubles by asking for money right now during this time. There is going to be disappointment coming with the Eight of Cups. Um, there might be another job opportunity with the Ace of Pentacles, maybe with the Trump administration, possibly. And this is going to be fast movement with the Ace of Pentacles with the Chariot card. And then the Knight of Wands. So he does have a good chance of, there's still a yes card for the outcome, but it's these cards, the cards that are leading up to the outcome are not as strong. So he's probably going to make it out of the primary against Katie Porter, but the likelihood he'll be the next governor is definitely not as strong. She had major arcana cards. He has just the Chariot. And you can see he's going through with what I was talking about with financial issues that's going to plague him during the process. So there we go. Let's. I'm going to ask one more question. We're hitting a half an hour part, 30-minute mark. I'm going to ask, the last question I'm going to ask is if President Trump's going to use the Insurrection Act to justify these troops and prevent the courts from interfering. And then we'll close out with the general message like per usual. I do want to point out on this video before I forget while I'm shuffling that last video I did say there was a maybe on the government shutdown, but I was thinking that there were going to be Democrats that were going to cross over, and actually there were three. Well, technically two Democrats and one independent who caucuses. Senator King, Angus King from um, what New England? I was going blank. Is it Maine? Is he the other one from Maine? It is Angus King, but he caucused with the Democrats. But anyways, so but that was not enough to stop the government shutdown. So okay, Insurrection Act. Will Trump use the Insurrection Act? Trump used the Insurrection Act. Definitely a crossroad. Well, there's a sudden change. There's a tower moment coming in regards to this. So we'll see what the rest of the cards say in regards to the crossroads. So he's probably definitely thinking about it, but there's going to be something that's going to happen. Okay, the Page of Swords, new ideas coming through, crossed by the Three of Swords. Uh, there is, there, the Three of Swords normally means that there's some type of loss, but when it's reversed, there's a lot of moving on. You're talking about moving on from something. So there might be discussion of it, but he might be moving on from doing that at the moment. This was in the recent past, the Sun card, about, you know, a lot of positivity. His ideas, I think in his bubble, a lot of positivity. Here we go. The pausing with the hangman in the foundation of the rating. Of course, the deception of utilizing the Insurrection Act with the Seven of Swords. But there's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to be causing an end to this. The painful endings could be the courts coming in, stepping in before him. And he's going to feel very entrapped with the Eight of Swords. Um, there's going to be a new proposal, possibly a new way to get around it with the Knight of Cups. But there is going to be some type of contemplation with that's the hope, with the Four of Swords. But it's saying no. With the outcome card is no. So there is, at the moment, he has thought about it with the Two of Swords, with the crossroads. But there is going to be something that's going to prevent him from doing it. And I'm thinking it might be the courts that might come in, that he's not going to be able to do it, even though he wants to do it. So hopefully that will be the case, Let's get some positive things going on here. Okay, let's do a general message, all right? Let's get some positivity in here. I was thinking that I do some walks throughout my workday to kind of break up my workday. Go out on a walk outside. I encourage, if you can, do so. It definitely helps to go outside, even if you can't walk outside. If you can step outside for a little bit, get some fresh air, get some air, kind of get out from being indoors, being away from your screens. So, Spirit guys, let's get a general message to the viewers out there. What will best help us at this time? What message do you have that will best benefit us this time, at this moment in time, for our viewers out there? All right. right now with the Three of Swords, there's a lot of suffering, like there's a lot of depression, pain, emotional pain going on. We have the Fool crossing with the Fool card, um, which is a lot of hesitation because of this depression, because of this emotional grief. We have a lot of hesitation about taking risks and making choices, and you know when you are feeling emotional pain, it's hard to make decisions because you don't want to make a wrong decision to make you feel worse. Okay. In the recent past, there was a lot of more joy to life, zest to life, so to speak. And when we receive this emotional pain again, we feel like there's a pause in this. Um, the foundation of the reading, we kind of feel with this negativity the sort of defeat because there was this, we feel deceived with the Seven of Swords crowning this reading. But what we need to do is give ourselves some rest, whatever that may be. I'm not literally saying take a nap, but making sure we do get enough sleep, not to stay up all night doom scrolling on our phones or on our computers, to get the rest we need and to remove ourselves. Again, talking about stepping outside, um, in order to maintain control with the Seven of Wands. Because from the outside, this is the next card is about representing the outside, the devil. Where all this destructive behavior that's hitting us with news, with things we hear about from others, where that has an effect on ourselves, and we're trying to get this. We're trying to stay above water and stay on stable ground. And the Queen of Pentacles is about nurturing ourselves, not just financially, but also internally as well. And that's by with the Six of Pentacles is making sure we have a community that's helping us. You're helping others, others are helping you in return. Will be helpful. Let's look at the base of this, the cards, because this is a way to make progress, to get through these conflict, is to work together again with our communities with this the lovers card, so trying to cover up. I realize I showed with the not some of the naughty bits, so hopefully that won't ban me. With that, again, thank you to everyone out there. I appreciate your views, but I would appreciate a little help with some subscriptions, some more likes. I appreciate you. Until next week, you all take care. Bye bye now.